Let's do this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to, well, I'm so used to introducing the reactions and the like. Hi there, welcome back
to the reactions to your comments.
To my own reactions to your reactions to my videos. It's reaction section. Yes, so we are basically picking up on the very last episode of the entire volume. Abe, I did see your comment, for the record. Why would you do that to me? Why would you keep updating your comments? Please.
Did he actually go back and update?
He does that. He goes back and updates his comments.
like with edits, because we're not gonna go back and reread those.
Yeah, we're not gonna go back to the previous things we already covered.
It's just to, like, you know, people who are like watching the streams and they're not like listening to you reading the questions, they're reading them on their own. It's just like, oh, why'd you read a different comment?
Luckily, I'm pretty sure he was talking mostly about. Oh shit, I need to send this out. Forgot that.
Oh, did you not tweet? Did you not tweet this?
I did not tweet it out. No. Is my thing updating? Okay. For a second there, I thought it was not. So yeah, copy the video URL. Go over to Tweetar.
Oh yeah. You ever spend like an absolute shitload of money on something stupid?
Yes.
Yeah.
I literally bought. Yeah. You're talking about.
I got you beat.
Meanwhile, I'm over here. Okay, well, you guys are gonna see the tundra for a moment here, which you can join for $1 or more to my Patreon or Fatman's.
Yes. Join us. Join the dark side.
So you can get @pinged for everyone on a regular basis for videos.
Well, yeah, but it's for videos. They want to see
that.
those.
That is the thing. Is like I have so many things that ping me. Is like, oh, we're about to stream. I'm like, okay, fine. Or like, hey guys, announcement page up. Go check out the Kickstarter. It's like, I have a newsletter emailed to me every time you update that. I don't need you pinging me on Discord. Or it's like, hey, we need to update this. I don't care.
Don't you hate getting pinged in servers you just lurk in?
Yeah.
That's like
and
the
muted,
worst.
It doesn't work.
Well, I mean that's like what everyone's are for. They bypass the muting. But you know, if it's something you want, like, then that's good, because you know YouTube doesn't send out notifications.
That's true. All right, you dismissed the insurance question, but those kinds of inconsistencies are something you would criticize the RWBY writers for. I mean,
insurance?
Yeah,
I don't think
there was the joke we made about insurance and the logical implications of insurance in the world of the setting. I remember. Not every critique is weighed the same. At the risk of gaining Fatman's wrath and mentioning his name, Mahler made a good point about that, where he's like, every critique you make of something is not weighed equally. There are things that are nitpicks. They're still logical. They're still logical inconsistencies.
They're only issues. Objectively nitpicks, though.
Well, yeah, they're logical issues. They're objective issues, but they're, in the grand scheme of things, they mean rather little to the overarching things. Typically, his big point is like there are nitpicks that can like snowball into each other to create bigger issues.
I don't know. I don't think anything is really a nitpick, because you as the watcher noticed it, right? So it's inherently affecting your experience in watching the show. I don't like. It might not matter to some person. You know, it might not matter to most people, but the people that noticed it had their watching experience.
They're all sitting there like Leonardo DiCaprio pointing.
Yeah. I mean, basically, like, you know, that's why people are like, well, I don't care, therefore you shouldn't. And it's just like, well, that's not engaging with the text, is it now? Like, fair enough. You don't have to be affected by that, by that, inconsistency, or that, like, because, like, some people really care about animation errors and stuff. Like, I mean, Floof, he was driven crazy by that bike chase, and we were just kind of like, bike chase go brrr. But he's like over there and he's catching all the rocks that are like out of sync from the last shot, and it's just like, that's not a nitpick. That's just something that didn't affect my ability to enjoy the show. It drives some people nuts. Some people noticing world building inconsistencies. Like, sure, that might not matter to a lot of people, but that might drive some people nuts. So I'm like, I think like a nitpick, like calling something a nitpick, is just a way to like dismiss the criticism, and it's like a bad way. It's like, you can say that doesn't matter to me. Like, you're allowed to say that. You like, you can say I don't care. You can have that one. Like, it's yours. It's your problem with the show. Like,
the Sin
and
Man,
then move on.
The Sin Man donated $2 and asked, "Hey, a question I forgot to ask earlier is whether or not during her depressive phase, Yang went back into alcohol like we saw in the Volume 1 rewrite." I debated introducing that. I debated that very heavily, whether or not to really try and alcohol. I ultimately, there was not space for it. And ultimately, it didn't feel right for where Yang was.
I honestly forgot that there was alcohol in the Volume 1 rewrite.
She was less of an alcohol and more of an all-around party girl. Like, it's kind of hard to...
Yeah, she wasn't a depressed drunk. She was a happy drunk.
Well, no. She was basically... She drank to ignore problems. But this is a problem she couldn't ignore while drunk. So it's not like drinking wouldn't do anything for her in this circumstance. It's like one of those weird circumstances where, like, if she drank, she would just feel worse while drunk. So.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know where I debated that. I went back and forth in my head, and I'm like, oh, I could do this, that, there, but I had already so much packed with Yang that I didn't want to encroach too much on that. We already had like 2 very clean phases to her story. I didn't want to muddy that.
I see.
Whereas Yang's other friends,
they were all fake friends.
Fair weather.
They were all hallucinations, along with all of the other shadow people from Volume 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. That might not be canon.
Yeah. The Intratech 9. We'll get into my thought process for Ozpin and Roman near the end of this. Again, I want to try and... I don't want to, like, keep teasing you guys with that, for the record. I want to actually just get to it at the end, because it's the biggest change I've made this volume.
No, you have to watch the entire stream, or else, like, just signing out and then coming back later, that won't happen. Like, you'll miss it. But you have to watch the whole stream to find it. We gotta act like Davey 504 to increase engagement, and just to constantly tease people.
Oh, for the record, that was one of my favorite things about the entire thing that worked out really well. Everyone liked the clowns. That's
I could definitely see the clowns being the highlight of the video. I was trying to think of the rewrite, and I'm like, oh no, your visual gag. I was like, wait, which scene are you talking? Oh no, I remember.
I was like joke. I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able. I always worry with jokes, because with jokes, so much of it is just timing, and I actually spent a lot of time sitting down and just being like filing down those clips and the sound clips to try and make it just be like the perfect amount. Like, I can't go over too long on this song. I can't do too much of it, but just enough to get the implication. Like, I was so worried about that. I'm happy it went over as well as it did.
Oh god, I don't know. Like, that's kind of how I feel with some of my jokes. But not necessarily like the timing aspect, because most of my jokes happen like in the writing, but just people missing them and misinterpreting them. And it's like, why do I bother? Why do I bother? I still get comments about that joke from Volume 2 about Ruby not being special. and people are like, "Oh, Ruby is special." I'm like, "Oh my god, I failed."
Oh, I'm trying to remember the joke that you made. It's been a while since I've watched your Volume 2 review.
Oh, it was the one where it's just like, like Ruby's not special. Ruby's not the boy who lived. And then I play the intro song where they say victory is in a simple soul, and then I go, "Oh, and nobody got that was like, like a
What's the joke?
self-referential like jab at my own comment, like the comment that's wrong, and then like instantly like the disapproval. And then the like I had like the tugging collar graphic, like a stock photo of someone going, "Ew."
Yeah.
And nobody got that. Like I still get comments to this day. So yeah, jokes are hard. It's hard to tell which ones land and which ones don't.
Okay, so I'm trying. I think this one actually brings up a good point. Is by Vilson Chu, or Vilson Chu is his name. Yeah. Glad how Yang's plot was a slow burn. As a black dude, as Blake's storyline leaves me weirded out, but at least I feel you did decent with what you had to work with. I'm especially glad you don't have to give her that horrible speech at the end of V5. And that actually brings up a point that I think other people have mirrored early on, is that they didn't. The Faunus racism subplot in this volume was very tricky, and I think we've talked about this briefly when we talked about Ilia, but like, if Fatman can attest, we spent a lot of time going over on the dynamic between Ilia and Blake to try and suss out what's going on, and it's all a matter of like worldview, experience, that sort of thing. So
yeah,
the problem I have is that like people are like, well, you're not touching upon the realistic issues, and I'm like, I'm touching upon the issues as presented in the show and presented in the logical consistencies following therein. Like, that's the most difficult thing that, like, people I guess are expecting allegory with the show.
I suppose.
And that,
yeah, like the conflict is more pointed in RWBY than in like, like the real world. It's more of like a power struggle between factions. Like it's fictional, it's fictionalized. That like,
yeah,
it's not like, or I mean, it is still a systemic issue in the show, but that issue doesn't like it doesn't encompass like that in the scope of the story.
There's looking back, there's things I could have probably done to make it more realistic. Like, for example, there's a lot of different organizations that support black rights. A lot of anti-racist groups out there, and say what you will about them. I have issues with any number of organizations in general. Whenever you get an organization, there's going to be problems within the ranks for a number of reasons. The fact is, there's things like BLM, there's things like the Black Panthers, there's things like I don't know what Martin Luther King's coalition was called. I don't know.
Did it have a
name? Did Malcolm did him or Malcolm X's, did their groups have names? But like you have these figures and these coalitions that form behind them. In RWBY, you really don't have that. You just kind of have the average everyday Faunus and the White Fang. Kind of a like be-all end-all type
as
situation.
Sun comments on in his Volume 1 appearance. I don't think there's a Faunus on the planet that hasn't heard of them.
Yeah. And God,
yeah, so it's just
don't remind me of that fucking scene. God damn, I hate that scene.
So it's like one group and then bunch of people with different reactions to it, and it's not like an all-encompassing movement. It's a lot more like a really divisive group. I don't know. It's again, it's so that the show can have an antagonist.
Yes. Now, but the fact of the matter is, I still wanted to try and handle it with some kind of deftness. I wanted to try and there's obviously gradients inside the White Fang. People inside the White Fang don't agree on how the White Fang should operate. That was the entire point of this volume, is that, you know, Sienna Khan's all about taking a much more smooth operator stance, about like being sneaky and infiltrating places, getting things set up for a long-term game. Adam's much more inflammatory and much more, hey, we got to do shit now. We've got to like burn everything to the ground and assert Faunus dominance, that sort of thing.
Yeah, but those are still both very direct method. You think Martin Luther King's group was just called the Civil Rights Movement? Yeah, I mean,
Probably, yeah.
That's what it was. See, like, it wasn't really a group. It was like just this all-encompassing movement, like in response to a problem. It wasn't like, oh no, like we're unionizing black people. It's just like,
which is why, like,
there's a problem, we need to address it.
I have an issue with like how, because they said, I remember very distinctly early on, they likened the Faunus racial subplot to the 1960s, to the 1960s racism. Do you remember that?
That was, that was in like the crew commentary.
And I think
Barbara's the one who said that. I remember it pretty clearly.
And I think that's, I mean, obviously Barbara doesn't have much sway on the writing staff, but I think that's very disingenuous. If you want to liken it to anything, I would probably put it more in the 70s or 80s around the Black Panther movement.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what they pointed out, because Barbara's a Canadian, and all that stuff happened way earlier in Canada. And also, it didn't get to the point where the Black Panthers really I mean, the Black Panthers started in America. Like,
yes.
I'm sure that they have global reach nowadays, but they definitely like started in America, and they started later. All that stuff in Canada happened like a decade before.
Yeah. So it's like,
and
you have all that going on.
People like in my comments in my comments have likened it to the IRA, which I don't have much of a frame of reference on. All God. I know is that, like, I got that was what I got the death threats for. Not knowing enough about the IRA.
Yeah, honestly, I should probably being Irish, I should probably know more. Irish and Catholic, I should probably know more about the IRA than I do, but I don't. I just know that it's probably a more fitting analogy, especially because like the Black Panther did a lot of they did some violent actions, I know, but the IRA, as I understand it, have done more grand scale things, like, you know, terrorist attacks on things. Like I don't have like the greatest opinion of the Black Panthers, but I know they were less violent in many regards than the IRA. So it's like I would probably liken it more to the IRA, because they were willing to blow the crap out of people who were innocent and completely unrelated. Well,
I don't know. I didn't do any research on the I didn't do any research on the IRA at the very least.
Yeah. For the record, all what I'm commenting on now is completely off the cuff, what I remember from school like 10 years ago.
Jeez.
Oh wow.
We're old.
We are old. High school was 10 years ago. Oh man. God, you know, when I was in high school, when I got the senior year, they started introducing the laptops to the freshmen. And now I go back and I coach mock trial, and just everyone has these laptops with touch screens on them. I'm like, why didn't I get any of this?
Old.
Admittedly, they are garbage laptops. They are really bad.
Oh, I mean, yeah, they're probably all $200 Chromebooks, if that. Like,
they're whatever the Dell equivalent of that is.
Oh God, that's probably worse. That's probably worse and more expensive. I would hate to see a $200 Dell laptop. But I mean, yeah, the point being that in RWBY, the story is very structured with antagonistic entities in mind. It's not so much comment on like community outreach or like political lobbying. it's more like, oh, if the, like the, you know, oh, the humans are the bad guys, like Torchwick says in Volume 2. You know, like, oh, we have the same enemy, the people in charge. It's more of like an anarchist movement of let's take down the government, and then everything will be equal. And he's, you know, over here like, but little do they know that I work for the the fucking Salem, or if he even knew about Salem. Cinder, he knew Cinder was up to no good.
Making trouble in his neighborhood.
Yes. And then that nice little grim griffin took him all the way to Bel Air.
His uncle Ozpin in Bel Air. Well, someone, this has been raised like 2 or 3 times. Apparently, there is a fan fiction out there called My Own Worst Enemy that thought of using Roman as Ozpin's host first. And this is...
Oh, you thief.
Oh yeah, I totally stole that. I wish we had the recording of when I had the epiphany. I wish we still had that. That was in Volume 4, wasn't it? The end of Volume 4 was like...
I don't know if it was the end of Volume 4, but it was some time ago.
Yeah, I remember because I've been holding on to that for Volume 4.
Yeah.
Like I had that goal from like the outset of Fixing RWBY, if not just
were you
after it.
Were you writing Volume 2 at the time? Were you writing Fixing
I think I was.
And that would have been right around the time that 4 was ending.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was...
Yeah, I think that's the case.
Yeah, so with that, it was like... Because I think you edited that reaction. You cut it out for me because I was like, hey, I don't want to spoil the surprise, but, you know, this is the downside of, you know, having things planned 3 years in advance.
Oh, yeah. Like, you know, people can independently come up with the same idea.
Yeah.
Did Adam and the White Fang know about Salem? I don't know if the White Fang did, but in Volume 4, Salem directly references Adam doing her bidding, and I don't know if he did that through Salem.
You mean...
Or if he did that through Cinder. Like, because...
Oh.
She talks about Adam as if he is part of the group, and it's just like, oh, how is our accomplice in Mistral? Like, I don't know if that was all done.
I think that implies that she had middlemen. I don't think Adam was, because Adam always struck me. He seems too hardcore for his mission to go along with anything Salem has planned. I think if he learned about Salem's plans, he would not be on board with it. He wouldn't want to be used like that.
I suppose, but you know, he does like he gets Grim into his into his like airship that he like raids the Amity Coliseum with. So like, you know, I don't know. I have little to no clue.
Okay, let's see if we can get another good question in here. Adam, a sick-looking design. Yeah, people were really happy with Adam's redesign. I can't wait. Next week, I'm planning on having an artist stream where all the artists can
take the kudos for all their work.
Yeah, and we can go over their art processes, that kind of fun stuff. Just kind of a chill stream like that.
Yeah.
Yank's character arc feels we're filling. That's like an add-on. Everyone doing spoiler tags. It's nice. People are excited to see Neo and Torchwick reunite. Yeah, I got to figure out when that's gonna happen. Like,
and how?
Yeah, and how? Like, there's so many different routes I could take it, and that's like the most imposing thing about Volume 5 is like I have so many possibilities. Which one is going to be the right one? It's like kind of
well, but you have so many possibilities, but you also have so much free space.
Oh yeah,
you have so much free space to work with. It's pretty good. I don't know. I think you'll nail it.
Let's see. Is it ending? Crap. The clown joke came over right. Neo and Roman. The ending. Oh my god, it was amazing. I'm screaming. I mean, like, This is a great ego boost going through this. This is wonderful.
Yeah. I should read the comments on my Volume 6 review. No, I shouldn't.
This is why doing positive critique can work out better for the mental health.
Yeah. This is bad. I stopped watching after 5 minutes. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I can tell from the analytics. You don't have to leave a comment.
Oh, my black sun. Damn it, my black sun and hopeful heart just keeps getting crushed. I'm sorry. Like, Blake and Sun is.
It's all about that MILF Sun now.
Yeah, no, seriously. I'm not
Callie and Sun is canon in the Fixing. I don't care what Raymond writes.
I'm tempted. I'm tempted that Sun is totally Callie's side piece. I don't know. The problem I have is that Gira just seems like too good of a guy. Like, it's just sort of like I don't want to cuck Gira. I don't want to be into Nidorare.
No, they're in a fully open relationship. It's fine. It's
fine. Who's he fucking on the side? I guess Guard Cat.
Guard Cat. Hey, you know, like there's some reason that she is still hired, even though she like was completely useless when Yuma busted in.
Okay, let's see. I think we should finally address Roman Torchwick, because I'm seeing a decent one. Like, finish the video as much as you. This is from Toby Zerker. As much as you've given Roman development, I also feel like Oscar would be a better fit. Mostly because Oscar, while initially being a blank slate, also was supposed to make the view think that Ozpin isn't much of a good guy by putting a child in danger and manipulating him into leaving his home life. It creates a darker image of Oz by seeing how much he's willing to throw away for the sake of complacency. Okay, I'm going to stop you right there and point out the fact that you have an ancient wizard hopping body to body, possessing people, and slowly pushing their minds out of their own body is horrifying from a base standpoint. You don't need to involve a child. I mean, I you know my stance on beating children in fiction, but like we don't need to go that far to show that Ozpin is a dubious figure, and this is going to, because I'm keeping the like minds type mentality with this, that like, oh, Roman and Ozpin are of like minds. What does that tell you about, oh, what does it tell you about Roman? No, what does it tell you about Ozpin? That should be the other direction to thinking. What does that tell you about Ozpin?
Yeah, I know, like, you know, are they saying that, like, Oscar is like-minded to Ozpin? That might just be a lie. Like, you know, he might have just been like, oh, no, I go into, you know, like souls and like minds and blah, blah, blah. It's like,
literally, I just go... He just goes into the guy who's, like, the name starts with an OS sound or an OS or OZ sound. Like
yeah. It's just anybody whose name has an O in it. Like, I want to know who the first guy is. Like, you remember the guy with this, you know, like the first guy in, like, you know, like 6'3"?
Yeah.
And it's just like, he didn't ask for that shit. It seemed like Ozpin just took over immediately in that instance.
Yeah, and also, like, there was no... That's a good question. Like, why did he take over so instantly? Like, ooh, that would be kind of a cool idea. Maybe Ozpin can take over instantly, but he's learned that, like, if you try to do that too quickly to someone who figures out what's going on, there will be resistance.
Like, they can fight it.
They can fight it. They
can
actually...
it's like, you know, like the Inception. You know, oh, he has mental bodyguards or whatever.
Yeah, so
he's dreaming about a secure brain.
So he lulls people into, like, a false sense of security by being like, yeah, no, I'm just chilling around here. I'm just, you know, eventually my memories will just diffuse into you. Everything will be just fine.
Everything will be just
my body
fine.
now.
Yeah, I can, you know, I can hear you chuckling to yourself in my own head. I mean, I was just thinking about a joke. What was the joke? And then he just hops bodies again. And then they like hard cut to like Oscar hanging from a rafter, and Ozpin is just in another body.
No, but like I want to address this. Oscar is really name one thing about Oscar. One thing about Oscar that
His
is of
gloves.
interest that are not directly related to Ozpin.
His gloves.
Okay, to be fair,
They got
stolen.
a little leather strap crosses
Those
on
were
the
stolen
back,
from the
it's
Lost
like,
and Found
what
on
are
the
those
Kingdom Hearts 3
for?
set. All right.
What are the straps on his gloves for? Like, what's he doing? Is that for like does he like birth livestock? Has he lost a glove before?
Yeah, true. Ozpin does have no control over the system, but I mean, obviously, I have kind of creative control right now to modify that.
Yeah, not to tease, but guys, get hype for the last episode of Volume 7 Abridged.
Oh God.
It has a joke that has made me laugh ever since I thought about it, and I've been like quivering with anticipation trying to get it out. I just couldn't until
Oh God, I can't wait to see what
I
that
guess
is.
until later.
What I was gonna say is friggin' like is Oscar gonna die and you're gonna replace him with fucking Adam? Adam gonna come back as new Ozpin?
No, Adam is an Instagram influencer now.
Well, think how much work
Which again is an
Ozpin's get
episode
done.
that hasn't come out yet. Oh God, I have episode 6 out. I don't have episode 7 out. Oh, I just spoiled that. I just spoiled that amazing twist. 6, 13, and part of 12 are like completely written. As far as like the thing goes, as far as the abridged goes. And I just have to like I just have to buckle down and do it after I get the commentary video out.
But to go back on point is things you can name about Oscar. Also, it's getting darker out, so I need to turn it back on. Things you can name about Oscar. He is a farm boy. He is mild. That is literally all I can think of that actually results in anything that describes Oscar as a character. He was...
Yeah, you say mild. I say spicy as milk.
So with that in consideration, like the most interesting he's gotten is being like, oh, this is my body, I'm taking control of it, or no, I'm just going to accept that I'm going to become you, but I'm not going to, but I am, but I'm not. Like even if we say that's good character development, which it's not, it's him going back and forth on the same point over and over again like an idiot, instead of having, firm morals. He's wishy-washy as all hell. We could have any other character do that. Literally any.
Mm-hmm.
Why not use one that's charismatic, already has an interesting background, has pre-established relationships with all the other characters, has a antagonistic dynamic with all the other characters, and with the voice in his head. Like, literally all the elements build themselves into Roman being like this perfect point for Ozpin to go into. And like people were like, oh, it should have been Ren, maybe, like Ren was an idea, and I kind of like Ren as an idea. On like the premise, like, okay, get the idea that, this is the character originally played by Monty, and now you have like the all-knowing character kind of going into...
Well, I mean, on top of the character being originally played by Monty, like, that Monty was initially supposed to voice Ozpin before Shannon McCormick stepped in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like Ren has like, ooh, it's double meta now.
Oh, yeah, I mean, like, Ozpin is totally like the writer the writer self-insert character that doesn't suck. I mean, he sucks in some ways.
Say that. Yeah.
In some ways. Like
we have to do the exposition now.
Yeah, he's
everyone gather round.
He's the less noticeable writer insert. He's the writer insert that can be like saying wise and cryptic things and be like hinting.
No,
at
he's not the
events.
writer insert. He is the show creator insert.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. That's more fair. So like
It's like the people who play guitar in Rock Band versus the people who sing in Rock Band. That's the dynamic there.
I mean,
I should have made a DDR reference, but there's no dynamic, you know. It's the people in DDR who use their hands when they're dancing versus the people in DDR who like hold on to the side rails and just like mechanically hit the buttons. It's like that, you know.
Oh Lord, I was gonna say the only difference between people who play guitar and sing in Rock Band is that you kill the people who sing. Well,
no, it's the people who play guitar usually play it on their own. Like, you know, they'll play it, they'll get really good, and they'll get to the point where they can like do like tappy solos, or like, you know, they don't have to like look at the notes coming down. Whereas the people who sing, well, they're like the party people who just like round out the group, and they're like, yeah, I'll sing, fuck it, I'll be loud. They're usually the ones who drink more in the parties, that, you know, the kind of parties where you play Rock Band.
God,
it's like that days. Kind of energy.
I miss when we'd go over to a friend's house and we'd all play Rock Band together. That'd be fun. Yeah. God, nothing quite measures up to being a kid, man. Everything seems so much cooler back then. But yes, that was the line of thought I had when I was thinking of Roman Torchwick being the replacement Ozpin figure. And just the fact, like, I can literally go, what happens when he walks through that door with Crow? What happens? Like, I can see so many different, like, does Team RWBY freeze up? Does one of them attack him? Do they start screaming? Do they run? What happens? I don't even know yet, but I'm excited to get there. I want to understand these dynamics better. It's great.
They should just instantly like pull guns and like shoot him, but then they see like the green Ozpin colored aura flash, and they're like, wait a second, what's going on here?
Actually, I think that would be great if RWBY just like quick draws. Like, out of everyone else, RWBY's the one that just immediately on the gun just like no scopes him.
Yeah. I mean, not to keep teasing about things that I'll probably never do, but like in my version of Fixing, RWBY just gets like so fed up. And she just like they corner Watts, and he like gives up, and he gives up like, say, you know, Cinder's location. And then after that, RWBY's like, okay, that's great, but what do you have for me? And he was like, well, that's everything. And then she just shoots him in the face. Everybody's like, RWBY, what the fuck?
Well, moving on, people were surprised I didn't change the Nuck fight at all. Or I did change it, but I modified it to make a little more sense. Like, they were like, why'd you get the noodle arms? And I'm like, I like the noodle arms.
What's wrong with the noodle arms?
Noodle arms are fun. Now we have Crunchy Summer with noodle arms. So, like, he has noodle arms, right? Crunchy Summer?
Kind of has wings more than noodle arms. Are his arms noodly? I don't think his arms are that noodly. I don't know.
Regardless,
I'll have to go back.
Noodle arms are great. Oh yeah, people are also like floating the idea that John should have gotten Ozpin. If John had gotten Ozpin, I would have checked out. I would have checked out of the show immediately. Like, even more so than Oscar, who I have major issues with Oscar, but oh my god, if John had gotten another special thing about him, I would have been so pissed.
Double author insert.
Let's see. I love it. Spoilers below. Spoilers below. Nope. Ozpin taking form of Roman. Oh boy. Hanzo, not gonna lie, kind of does look like Scorpion.
Scorpion kinda... from Mortal Kombat. Scorpion.
Huh.
Or just a Scorpion.
It's cute. I love it.
Tyrion versus Scorpion. Who would win?
Oh,
he had noodle arms when he slapped Ren. Okay.
Let's see.
So he did briefly have noodle arms. All right.
Okay, so if there's anything I'm not sure about this rewrite, this is from Zay Overseer. I'm getting to his critique and his thing. The one thing he's not sure of is holding off on the reveal of Salem. Considering she is the main villain of the entire series.
Is she, though?
I mean, she's the main antagonist.
The real antagonist are the friends we made along the way. Like, I mean, you're giving all of the antagonists we actually encounter more to do.
Yeah. Well, say again. I was reading the comment.
Like, you know, like Salem is the main antagonist, but only on paper. Like, you know, if the actual characters we interact with are more involved in the story, then that's an improvement.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, imagine how much more impactful Salem would be if Cinder mattered at all. Like, if they had, like, an entire arc with Cinder, and it's just like, oh, Cinder, you're the baddest of the bad, we need to beat you with a wicked guitar solo. And then they do, and then, like, Salem, like, comes out, like, fine, I'll do it myself.
I mean, here's a good example. Who's the main villain of DBZ in the early episodes?
Goku's very own weakness.
No, but good try. Most people would say Vegeta, right? Would people not say Vegeta?
Sure.
But is he?
Because, no, it's Goku's weakness, but, what are you getting at?
Who sent Vegeta to the planet?
Frieza.
And there you have it. And you only hear about Frieza while Vegeta is on Earth. In fact, I don't even know if you hear about Frieza, do you? I can't remember.
I don't know. I'm so used to Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
I know.
Where they reference Frieza so much sooner than they did in the actual show.
But the point of the matter
is... I don't think Frieza is really a known character, like, when they go to Namek for the first time.
They might not be. And, like...
Raditz. Piccolo... No. Piccolo, maybe Dragon Ball, but not Dragon Ball Z.
And, like, the show doesn't need to follow the Harry Potter formula, where every single enemy they fight is just another iteration of frickin' Voldemort. I think the only one where it's not a direct iteration of Voldemort is the third book? Is that right?
I don't remember enough about
that's Peter Pettigrew, isn't it? Peter Pettigrew and the werewolf professor. Like, that's the main antagonist of that story. Because in the first one, it's the head on the back of Quirrell's... It's the face on the back of Quirrell's head.
Yeah, and then in the second one, it's the
Tom
basilisk
Riddle.
Who is...
Well, it's Tom Riddle.
Yeah.
The diary. Third one is Peter Pettigrew, who is not Voldemort himself, just a disciple. The fourth one, they revive Voldemort. Fifth one, Voldemort shows up to fuck shit up at the very end. Sixth one, it's Voldemort. And seventh one, it's Voldemort. Like, you don't need to keep... Like I get that there's an overarching villain, but, like, there are other villains along the way that are just as interesting, if not more interesting.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get to Hazel. I have fun plans with Hazel. I think I can save his character, because his character was ruined by one scene. Everything else around that is just fine.
You need an actual flashback to Hazel's sister dying in the in the woods.
Oh, you'll see. I actually like my plan way better.
Very good. Very good.
Also, the idea of saving the reveal of Roman till after the credits. What do you think of that?
You mean, like, revealing Roman in a post-credit scene?
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, hey, I mean...
That's how Salem was revealed.
What? No.
Oh, you're right.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah. The post-credit scene was Crow following the kids.
Hey, his bird transformation was revealed then.
Yeah. But, like, I mean, is it better than wasting everyone's time? I mean, like, because I saw this, I don't know, some article, some site, like, about, like, the Marvel movie timeline, and how, like, in that article, they said the post-credit scenes aren't canon, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
They are.
Like, the Marvel post-credit scenes are, like, some of the most canon things in the show.
And they're some of the most entertaining sometimes, like...
Oh yeah, in some of the movies, yeah. But yeah, no, it's like revealing. I mean, okay, in Volume 4, they replayed that post-credit scene in
Volume 5.
in the Volume 5. Like, so I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like, if
My take on that is that, well, to give a slight spoiler for Volume 5, I plan on opening on how the hell Roman survived, because I have a pretty clear idea of how he survived, and I have somewhat of an idea of how he gets from point A to point B. It's filling in that gap that I'm most worried about, but I think I think I have a pretty good through line on how he gets from point A to point B.
Like, he's like on the side of the road, a trucker pulls up and he's like, gas, grass, or ass. He's like, do you not know who I am? And then the trucker just drives away and he's like, fuck. Keeps walking with his thumb out.
Another driver pulls up. It's the exact same driver.
Yeah, he just did a loop.
Oh, sorry. If you actually want to go somewhere, you have to go to that highway over there. This one is literally just a half mile.
We're in a roundabout. You landed in London. Now I want to do like a viral video, like a viral prank video where I go to London and I hitchhike around the roundabout. It'd be the worst idea ever, but I mean, bad ideas get views, right? Honestly, I'm of the opinion that Adam, Cinder, and heck, even Tyrion are more interesting characters than Salem. What do you mean, and heck, even Tyrion? And heck, even Tyrion
no,
is
the
probably...
The heck even should be Cinder, but it shouldn't be there because it shouldn't be Cinder.
Whoa!
Did you miss that he said Cinder? He said Cinder.
He said, I'm in the opinion that Adam, Cinder, and heck, even Tyrion are more interesting characters than Salem.
Adam and Tyrion, I will give you. Like, they are more interesting than Salem in many ways, but Cinder?
I mean, as of the end of 7, Cinder has more to her than she did previously. But, like, yeah, Cinder's a blank entity. She's like the Oscar of the bad guys. She's just there to be a vessel for the plot convenience. She's like, oh, God, I'm evil, I'm mad, I'm voiced by Cortana. Windows 10, ooh. that's what she does. She installs Windows 10 on all the Atlas and then hit blue screen.
Come on, load here. Raymond, I'm not willing to make Cardin and Velvet canon as to not deviate too much from the show. Also, Raymond, I'm going to make my favorite character Ozpin because Oscar is too much of a mess to work with. I mean,
hey,
like Oscar's not a mess.
Yourself.
No, okay, frankly, Oscar is the opposite of a mess. All right, if I wanted to take the easy route, I would have made Oscar canon. But you know what? Oscar was boring. Oscar's a terrible character. I hate Oscar. Roman is far more interesting and honestly far more complicated to make work than Oscar on so many different levels.
You actually have to come up with something for him to do, because Torchwick wouldn't sit around and like just wait for 10 episodes.
Oh yeah,
in a house.
I'm probably gonna have like a little throwaway line in there, just be Ozpin like, all right, now all we have to do is sit in the house. Oh, we have to sit and wait for a call. And Oscar and Roman's like, what? No,
I'm going to reclaim my crime empire. And he's like holding onto the door frame, like, no, don't go out.
And like his other head is like, oh no, come on. It turns into a freaking Evil Dead Evil Dead 2, where he's like fighting with his arm the entire time. He has to like cut it off at some point. Hey, there's an image for you, Dora. Draw frickin' Roman as Ash Williams from Evil Dead 2 with his chainsaw arm.
God.
So much
we're gonna have to start paying Dora eventually.
I'm kidding, Dora. Don't actually do too much.
Yes. Don't take care of yourself first and foremost.
Sir Celtic. Ooh, I like that. Keep calling me Sir. It's nice. Let's see, Oscar could still be a character in your story. Okay, I have workshopped if Oscar could be a character still in the story, and I've been talking about it with a lot of people. I've talked about it. I think have I talked about it with you before?
I mean, briefly. I was just like, why bother?
Yeah.
Or if you haven't said that, then I'm saying it right now.
Yeah. I've tried working on it. I floated the idea of maybe he's like a sibling to Vernal and he shows up and gets killed, but I'm just
You're
like,
gross. No.
yeah, I just ultimately I was like, no, it doesn't work. Oscar just does not work. He's literally just he comes out of nowhere. And in fact, his existence makes the entire show questionable on its face, because how the hell does a farm survive out in the wilderness when the Grimm exist?
Well, there are only 2 people there. They probably just take a lot of Valium.
I mean, I guess that would explain Oscar's character. He's just mentally damaged from how much Valium he's had to take. He doesn't have the right brain chemistry anymore.
Like that's one thing about like outside of the cities people in RWBY, and it's just like, they need a different outlook on things and stuff than the people inside the cities.
Wait, what? Sorry, I feel bad I'm not paying attention because I'm trying to read some of the comments to make sure I find good questions, but you're just also saying things, so continue.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead and read. I'll just
Talk
vaguely babble at the chat for a while. What I'm saying is that, like, cities have walls, and that's like why they can have a culture that is similar to unchanged Earth, just to make it easier on the writers. But outside of the cities,
I just realized what needs to be used as an example, because it fits so fucking Jack 2, Haven City.
Yeah,
it's like literally the entire world of RWBY is basically just kind of Jack 2.
Oh God, please don't.
The Grimm are just the metalheads.
Stop. Stop. No.
Baron Praxis is Ironwood. Winter is Ashland. Yeah, when it works out.
Yeah, I guess.
Actually, no, I hated Ashland. Well, I didn't hate her. I just didn't like her.
You're saying that like you don't hate Winter?
No,
Ashland had a better ass.
But Winter has better hair.
Oh, I don't even agree.
I've never been one for, like, she has like dreads, right?
Yeah.
Not really in the dreads.
Oh, she's fucking hot. Chat, answer right now based on patroning me immediately. If Ashland has
patron me if you think Winter is hotter. And
We'll turn this into a war.
Or you can Streamlabs me directly. You can do that.
Yeah. Here, I'll open my Streamlabs. Whoever gets the most donations right now will be declared the winner.
Would you make Silver Eye Power do more than just laser beaming Grimm? Working on that. Gotta find out what more it can do in the actual show, because apparently they've hinted at more things.
No, they have?
Yeah, they like didn't Maria say that you can, like, depending on like how you use it, you can do like she said that there were different things you could do with it, but she never elaborated on what it could do.
I don't remember. I don't recall that. You might be Mandela affecting.
Maybe I'm Mandela affecting. Actually, chat, you probably know better. Does she say anything to that effect? Let's see. I love it. A few things I want to ask. We're getting the backstory on Raven. Got her maiden powers. Raven, I have a lot of. I've been running ideas back and forth with the Sketchy Huntsman. There are some fun ideas with Raven being thrown around. In particular, her and Vernal's relationship and how those two interact. Very fun ideas going on.
I'll be right back.
Okay, well, now I gotta hold this. Good. When I was being honest, I honestly loved how James helps Weiss leave. Yeah, I actually was really happy with how it came out. I like making Ironwood this very sympathetic and warm character, especially if we're going to go the route that we're seeing in volume 8, with him volume 7 and 8, where he's a much more extreme character. Like, having him have these warm moments is very important for setting up that contrast. You can use the eyes as a flashlight. Yes. I demand you canonize Ashlyn X Winter immediately. I prefer the Silver Eyes was actually the power of the summon the White Grim like Weiss does. That's an interesting idea. I don't know if it would work out very well. Kind of thought she was implying more strength and breadth of the Silver Laser rather than any specific skills. That might be it. But, like, all we've seen it do is freeze things. We've never seen it really... Well, it deletes the apathy, I think. Wait a bit. If the show keeps avoiding the matter of Silver Eyes, just design your own system roll. Yeah, that's the problem. I might run up against that. I'm running out of time because, like, once we hit Maria in the rewrite is where we're going to start getting explanations for the Silver Eyes. Hell, I might already be at that crux if I have Ruby ask about the Silver Eyes to Ozpin. I might have to pull Ozpin doesn't understand the Silver Eyes himself. He just knows how useful they are in order to try and buy time for me to better understand how Silver Eyes works in the proper show so I can fix it then later on. This is the problem with how I have to write things before the entire show is finished. It's really... I mean, ideally, I would wait until the entire show is dead and gone before I would go back and write it. But one, that's not going to happen for another, 2, 3, 4 years at this rate? And two, no one will be watching it then.
Yeah, I don't know. You've given yourself this problem. Like, yeah, I have no sympathy.
Well,
just
like,
say.
The reason why I can have things like Velvet and Cardin and then Roman show up is because I've built the goodwill. Like, that's kind of part of it. I have to be very careful and be like, okay, I have to make sure I don't go too far with how over the like how self-fulfilling and I don't want to say fanfiction-y because like there's a lot of really good well-written fanfiction out there. It's how ridiculous some of my changes are. I don't want to go too far with them. I need to make them grounded. And if I don't do that right, people are going to be like, now wait a minute. We've already gotten a couple of people like that, but like those are some of the bigger changes, and that's where I expected them. So it's sort of like I just buy time. Not buy time. I buy lenience with the rest of the people with that. That's my thought process, at least. It doesn't really work like that.
I suppose. I mean, my whole thought process is just like, fuck it.
I know. When it's my own writing, I'm usually like that way. I'm just like, fuck it. But no, not the
Mitch,
Ruby fandom.
it's just Mitch Hedberg and his joke about Pringles. It's just like, Pringles' original intention was to make tennis balls, but on the day the rubber was supposed to arrive, a truckload of potatoes showed up, and they're like, fuck it, cut them up.
Okay.
Yeah. That's basically what Ruby is. Can you imagine if Pringles were round, tennis ball shaped potato chips that only came 3 to a tube?
Jack the Cat asks, will you do anything with Oscar or is he dead? No, Oscar has committed the unlive.
He never existed.
Yeah. Okay, come on. I hate these read more buttons. They're so they don't react fast enough. But then you said Oscar, which is
they fill in like JRPG text.
Okay. All right. So I want to go back to what I said about Oscar. When you said that Oscar, this is from Shepper Shanek, saying, but when you said Oscar was just a blank slate, I think you mean blank slate for Oz, and when asked for to say that this was the case in Volume 7, which in my opinion is factually wrong. Here's why. Correction. If it's factual, it's not your opinion. You can base your opinion on facts, but your opinions are not facts.
In my
Unless you are
opinion,
stating, I have an
this
opinion,
is
and that is a fact.
factually wrong.
This is his statement following up, Fat Man, and I'm gonna leave it to you to answer it. Oscar Pine is one of the greatest potential character arcs in the whole series.
Okay. Potential and great don't belong in the same sentence unless it's the Spider-Man quote. No, it's not even from the Spider-Man quote. That's power. That's not even potential.
It might be like the Amazing Spider-Man. I don't know. Maybe.
With great potential comes great responsibility. Like, people will watch a bad show like RWBY because it has potential.
Better yet, with great potential comes great expectation.
Yeah, and expectation is the root of all heartbreak. There's the adaptation of the Spider-Man quote.
Yes. So,
but no, potential isn't a positive thing. Like, it's a blank page, a literally nothing. The human imagination with no concrete depictions set in any way has the most potential.
Here's how he continues this. He only lives with his aunt, showing that something must have happened to his parents. One, we don't know what happened to his parents. Like, funny. For all we know, his parents live there too. Even Word of God cannot say that he doesn't live there with more than just his aunt. It could just be his aunt lives with his family, for all we know. Second, and he clearly wants to be more than just a farm boy. When, at any point, does he indicate anything of that before Ozpin shows up?
Well, I mean, Ozpin shows up like immediately,
as
soon as he's introduced. So you're not giving him much time.
Before that, he seemed perfectly content. Like, he literally gets 2 scenes before Ozpin shows up. He gets 2 whole scenes before Ozpin shows up, or a scene and a half, I guess. And like during that time, he seems okay. He seems pretty content where he is. He seems pretty happy with his life. I mean, he's a shit farmer. The crop field is tiny. Unless he's growing marijuana like Fatman suggested, that's the.
Now that would be some potential right there.
Yeah. Oh my God, Oscar weasels in. He becomes a drug kingpin to challenge Roman.
No, that's his contact for that's Torchwick's contact for illicit substances.
Yeah, but I remember reading this and like. It just, none of it adds up when you really think about Oscar, like, as a compelling character. He doesn't.
I mean, it's already based on potential, so.
Yeah.
Like.
It's not, like, when you say potential, you're talking about headcanon. And that's where, like, I take these things. I take potential and I thread them through. But when I'm handed a blank sheet of paper, don't expect me to hand you your blank piece of paper back to you. Completely
with
unedited.
An A+ on the top.
Yeah.
Big red pen A+, circle it 100%. Also, see me after class for a hand job. That's not how it works. If you did that in a creative writing class, you'd probably get asked to leave.
Yeah. Also, Eternal One donated $10. Thank you for the donation. Nothing to say with that, which is unusual. I mean, if that was a misclick, maybe you sent that too early. You can type it down below. We'll try and find it in the comments or in the chat. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so he's expressing love for the overall series. I'm trying to find critiques. We're getting near the top of this. We got through this really fast.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when all the comments are just praising you.
Which is
you need to write worse stuff if you want better comments.
People wonder how I have such good complexion. It's all the praise. I just wash it over my face.
Yeah,
it's a sound.
You're that meme. That meme.
Yes. Let's see. Holy shit, Torchwick. So we're keeping switching bodies. People maybe might need to rewatch the scenes with Torch. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Yep. Look forward to seeing development interactions with the actual fuck Ozpin as Torchwick. That's actually awesome. The ending was so damn good. Let's see. This on another note, this makes the joke Roman made in Volume 2, oh look, she sent the kids again. This is turning out just like the divorce. All the more funnier given the context of Ozpin's past. I mean, yeah. Yeah, it is. That's great. Let's see, I realize it's coming from Oscar Pine fan, but where does that he leave? Yeah, Oscar's gone. Sorry. Oscar is not in here. Follows canon crossover fanfic. Just finished this video. You're a scheming mad lad. Quick, fill the air. I need to search these for good questions.
All right, Ryan Carson says, yeah, he seemed pretty chill. He would probably find more happiness there than just being Hazel's personal punching bag. I agree.
Although we're not going to say that he shouldn't be Hazel's personal punching bag.
No, just that he would be more fulfilled working on a farm than being a punching bag. In my opinion, it's factual that Hazel doesn't suck. That Hazel, yeah. This is the scene from Parks and Rec. Like, it's I forget what the context of the scene was, but I've seen that clip so many times. Like, no, that's what an opinion is, and that's a fact.
See, Robin of Thunder basically asks how I'm going to handle the apathy arc now that I've introduced Roman. That's spoilers. I can actually say that because I have plans and I hope to make it heartbreaking. So,
what are you asking? A Devo type character? I need to look that up.
Who's asking this?
Jan is, I'm not going to pronounce your last name right. I'm not even going to try. Yeah, will Raymond introduce Davoe, a Davo type character? Do you know who Davo is?
Who's asking this again? Oh, Yen is
Jan.
a Devo. Oh,
who's a Devo?
From Flash.
Oh, okay.
Are you talking to Thinker? Like, if I'm going to introduce the Think, I mean, isn't Watts already kind of like a, he's super technically illiterate and he has like all these machinations and such. I mean, if I were to introduce I wouldn't introduce a Devo character. I would just modify Watts to be better, and Watts is already really good.
Is that the guy who said my goals are beyond your understanding?
Maybe.
Is that even from the Flash?
I don't even remember.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that meme is from one of the CW shows. I'll look up the meme.
Beyond your understanding. Oh no, that's the Reverse Flash. That's Harrison Wells or / Eobard Thawne, depending what name he's under, because he just
Okay, the Reverse Flash. Okay. Hey, I'm glad I knew that was from one of the CW shows at the very least.
Yeah, Clifford DeVoe is the Thinker, and he's a pretty cool dude. He's a pretty cool villain. He's played by a really good South African actor. And then he's being played by Peter Capaldi in the Suicide Squad movie, which is exciting. All right. Okay, so this is from Noob Artist 600. Right? Yep, 600. Cons.
Hey, Noob Artist.
Ilia's arc feels rushed and abrupt towards the end. Between Volume 4 and 5, we had a significant buildup of tension between the two. No, stop. I'm going to stop you right there. Ilia literally had one scene in Volume 4. One scene. She's literally just there in Volume 4. So, I'm going to stop him and say, we had build up to the end of Volume 5. No, we got introduced to her. And, that could have easily been done in the next volume. And nothing would have been really that changed. Except for the fact that Blake's arc would not have had a punctuation to it. But more slice of life, melodrama nature of Blake's plot in this rewrite, it feels like Ilia goes with a nuclear option rather quickly with sending Blake to Adam. Beyond that, I feel sending Ilia on the path to redemption is a decision that works more. I mean, she has 2 good confrontations with Blake. Right? I gave her 2 really strong confrontations with Blake. First, where she goes to her house and tries to be polite about things,
Yeah.
and then where she's told to like smear Blake, and when that doesn't win her over in a public confrontation, she just like, and Sun basically beats her off with a freaking broom. Like,
he beats her off.
yeah. Like when that happens, you have she's like basically just sort of like lost for options. She's like, well, they're offering, hey, we can send her back to us and we can basically unbrainwash her, or in reality brainwash her back at our pace.
Unbrainwashing.
So it's like that's my defense for it. Maybe I could have given her more room to breathe, but I'm trying to think of what scene I would add that would help catapult that, because you already see before she even gets to the island, Ilia is pretty far down the White Fang rabbit hole. And even though she conflicts with a few members within it, she's pretty much swallowed their ideology hook, line, and sinker. So it's like it's not really extreme. It's the fact that she tried to be more moderate for Blake, but then defaulted back to more extremist tendencies in her actions. Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not the one you need to convince. I really like your version of Blake's storyline. I was always sad when the scene changed away from it.
And then Ruby herself didn't get an arc this season. I'm gonna stop you right there. She did. This entire season has been about basically. It's really hard to eloquate because it's a very subtle thing, but it's her taking charge. The big turning point for Ruby is when she basically puts her foot down and says, "Look, we're going to split up." Like that was her moment, and that was where I had an issue in the original volume. Is that it really wasn't Ruby making that decision; it was Nora. I changed it so Nora was the one making that suggestion, but it was Ruby that was being like, "Yeah, guys, Nora has the plan. This is a good plan. We're doing it." And so Ruby's arc was sort of like kind of feeling lost and feeling undeserving as a leader. And we see some of that after that scene where she's confiding in John about not being the best that she can be, that kind of thing, dragging them into this shit. And John's like, "No, you're the one that's been like giving us the courage to actually do this stuff." Ruby is like learning how to be a leader on a different level in this volume. She's learning to be a symbolic leader more than she is learning to be. She's learning to be a not a figurehead, an inspiration, I guess. She's learning to inspire this volume, and she's not quite there yet, but she's getting there. And that was her growth. And it's going to keep going forward, that Ruby is going to become more and more like a true leader figure, as will John. So
yeah, basically.
So, and the reason why, like, if like with my additional scene with John is like I didn't feel I needed to add more. I felt like I already had enough great stuff. And I think part of this might be the fact that like I didn't really retell a couple of scenes. There were a couple of scenes that I just didn't bother reiterating the entire beat by beat of. I just kind of like glossed over it. So you might lose details there, but those scenes basically happened untouched, except for corrections needed to be made like in the fine tuning to like match certain events.
Yeah.
So let's see. Carnhain the Mistral, assuming meet up with Ranger.
And also, Rostalaman makes a good point that pacing is hard to glean from like an outline style that you made in these videos.
Oh, yeah.
And that Ilia's arc wouldn't seem. I mean, I don't think it seemed rushed in the outline, but like it would seem even less so in an actual like
episodic
produced
show.
Episode. Yeah,
because like you would have weeks between things where people would actually digest everything that happened.
Well, no, I mean just like the scene writing structure would be way more like, because I mean you can say something, and you can say it's something that happened, but in the show it would happen at like a much different rate.
I mean, like
Fate's so
for example, when she goes into Blake's house, they have some pretty genial conversation topics. They actually talk about things a little bit before they get heated. So that would definitely change the tone of things. It would definitely have a contrast.
Yeah, and Fate's Awakener is saying that like Ruby's character arc in Volume 4 is taking Coco's advice of wearing your leader hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like taking that advice back from was that like Volume 2?
That was Volume 1.
That was Volume 1 fixing?
Yeah. Which I'm very happy that people are remembering that stuff. That is very important because a lot of what happens in Volume 4 is just subtle with Ruby. It's all reflective of what she's gone through prior and what she's going through now. She's questioning herself. She's worried about herself, but she's still pushing forward. And that's like it's showing that in this volume, she's sort of making the right call with that.
Totally. She's and also like she's not the main. Like I don't think there is really a main thrust in this volume. The main thrust isn't really character focused. It's like thematic focused. Yeah. So you're looking at it from the wrong perspective in the first place to really get, like saying, oh, this character, doesn't have an arc. No, it's all sort of playing into a theme more so than a straight up character study. Yeah, it's a transitionary period, and that's kind of how it is in canon show. It's a transitionary period between Vale and Haven.
Code Blaze Fate says, given the last time Nora and Pyrrha interacted in V3 was pretty heated and negative, and the latter is dead now, I'd assume Norma would take this pretty hard, even worse than she probably would have if she didn't fight the moment and being distant standoffish in her final interactions. Nora does have moments of recoil and shame whenever Pyrrha comes up in some way here, but you think, we went over this I think last time, that just people react to grief differently, and Nora isn't one to demonstrate grief on the surface. At least not in the rewrite, not yet at the very least. She's not at a breaking point. She's just kind of like digesting it herself, and it's a bitter pill to swallow that Pyrrha died without her.
I'm crying on the inside.
Yeah, she's been blasting that Linkin Park.
The Leonardo says, Fixing RWBY uses this arcane technique called show don't tell, where the actual RWBY can barely tell well, let alone show well.
Do you know how hard it is to show in a story that's being written as a summary that doesn't already have show built into it? Very difficult.
Look, I think that shit's like, I mean, think about books, right? And people like, in the commentary for Volume 7, not to keep fucking harping on this shit, I can't wait to be done with it and then erase it all from my memory. But like they talk about, oh god, we had to like show these characters exchanging meaningful glances, and I'm just like, that's like the most superficial interpretation of show don't tell. It's like, how do they think books work, where it's like all words? It's just like, oh no, it just means don't use words. It's just like, come on guys, just tell it's character actions. Sharing a meaningful glance is a shitty character action.
Let's see if there's anything more to this comment. Nora does have moments of recoil, blah blah blah. Perhaps Volume 5, I do plan to do more with Nora and her dynamic with Pyrrha later on. Trust me, especially when we get to Argus and there's that silly statue, which I will have an explanation for, believe me. Because
it's a Neo illusion.
Neo is just fucking with Nora, just like, yeah.
That fucking bitch.
Curious what you do with the Maidens. They don't really mean anything. They mean something in the they're glorified keys.
Yeah, they're keys. The check under the mat, and then like they get up to the vault, and then there's like a mat, and Vernal's like laying under it. It's just a welcome mat, and it's like, I'm hiding.
Will I add any new Grim into the fixing? Maybe. I would actually. Here's a fun fact. On our reaction, did you see that the artist of the Wendigo actually commented? Yeah, and I was like, maybe I'll invite them to join the Sketchy Huntsman, but then I realized something else. Everything they designed that was submitted to that contest is technically owned by Rooster Teeth. So, yeah. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, that might get into an actual legal gray area.
Ask them to design a different thing.
Oh, maybe. But I gotta see what's going to happen next week on in whatchamacallit. I'm gonna draw my blinds. They're freaking. It's dark outside. Stupid divider. I'm fat. I'm a fat Irish Scotsman. I eat too much haggis. Okay. Let's see.
Sharing meaningful glances is the basis of Bumblebee. Is it even though? Is the statue going to have been erected after Pyrrha basically became a celebrity in Mistral? And she won her 3rd tournament? Well, maybe. It had, it had the plaque where it's just like, Hero of Beacon, alright.
Aw, Sun gets no love. Sun gets plenty of love. Sun gets
from Callie.
Yeah.
He doesn't need more. If it happened on stream, the videos would be age restricted, guys.
Do I plan to make Roman and Ozpin be more like Lyn and Greed? From Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched FMA Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. But what?
I mean, that's not the worst dynamic in that show.
You have some spicy opinions about Fullmetal Alchemist.
Yeah.
Because I love that series, but you apparently didn't have the highest opinion of it.
I mean, okay, I think my problem was that I watched 2003 first.
No, it wasn't. Because I watched 2003 first and then watched the other one.
Really?
I mean, my biggest issue with it is that I think that there's you should watch 2003. You should watch both all the way through just because I think they're interesting. But it's right. You started both and then ended both.
No. Okay, I started 2003. I watched the good part of 2003, and then it started getting really bad. And then I'm like, should I bother finishing it? Everybody's like, no, just watch Brotherhood. And then I started Brotherhood, and I didn't like it. And then I went back and I finished 2003, and then I finished Brotherhood.
Did you still not like Brotherhood when you finished it?
Well, the end of Brotherhood was good. I'm not going to say what it's not, but not holistically. If Brotherhood didn't rush through the first arc or whatever, probably would have been great.
Yeah, that's the thing. I always say, you need to watch both because the beginning of Brotherhood is literally in 2003. That's been my stance on it the entire time. And he's gone silent for a moment. That's fine. If I can make a suggestion, maybe now.
Sorry, it's my cat. I got to deal with her.
Oh, you don't want the cat on stream?
No, she's out. She's outside of my room, and I have to go and deal with her. I'll be back. I'll be right back.
The Hound Grim. No, I'm not going to introduce the Hound Grim any sooner than I need to. I've debated it. I don't think I have room for it anywhere else. Fixing RWBY series. We ever consider doing some of the scenes in form of audio drama? Maybe we have some weird things on the spoke that might be fun with that, but I don't know if I would have the resources to put an audio drama together for this series. Also, that might.
Hey, Black Book Season 4 coming soon.
Oh, don't. No. I already feel bad enough having to cancel that. Oh God. I was just wondering if you what your Ironwood is going to be like. As I was a really big fan. Ironwood is going to be relatively the same. Volume 8 might get some tweaks depending on how they take it, but they've already made some bad moves with Ironwood. bring back Roman because it cheapens his death and also kind of impossible. Like I said, I have a way for him to survive. There's actually mitigating circumstances, especially if you pay attention to how that fight plays out. And on top of that, cheapening death, resurrection is a very fine thing to play with, and I've done an entire video on death and resurrection storytelling. So I recommend you check out that video in my highlights. I asked a lot of my thoughts on that there. See, however, we know the semblance or amplification. John's semblance, still toying with that. Probably going to be the same, but probably going to be modified. Don't know how I'm going to handle that quite yet, but I think I will. There's a lot of things about Volume 5 I don't know how I'm going to handle until I get into it. Literally, I start off all these volumes, which is like a bullet point of different ideas I have, and then I'm like, okay, let's make this a cohesive story, and then I fill in the gaps, and then I send it to Fatman, and then he makes me sad, and then I fix the things, and I send it to Fatman, and he makes me sad again, but less sad, and then I fix them, and then he's like, okay, it's better now. Salem's experimentation earlier, maybe even have in the history flashback. Maybe I could have her experimenting more, or maybe I could just have her start experimenting because she's never, like, had this many issues before. I'm so glad you held shipping feelings back. In all honesty, I do not accept bullies to lovers. Why don't you? Like, if it's told well, why don't you? Like, what's different than enemies to lovers, for example? What's any different there? In fact, I would argue bullies to lovers makes way more sense than enemies to lovers. Because enemies to lovers are people that have ideological differences on the whole and are typically trying to kill one another. Bullies aren't trying to kill one another, and typically it's not ideological differences, they're just being an ass, and they typically just need to get a what for. Like, I don't understand where bullies to lovers is anything different than, say, enemies to lovers, or anything of that ilk. I'm talking about shipping dynamics right now. What are your thoughts on bullies to lovers?
I don't really like that ship. Like, I don't like a lot of ships like that. Tsundere characters. I mean, like, that's very. It's not the same dynamic as a tsundere, but it's similar.
What do you think of Ketra and Adora?
I despise it.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not to the intensity that my friend, my friend does. But like that was like really disappointing, especially because Catra was such a petulant little bitch for like the majority of season 5, 6, 5. It was 5, right?
It needed a season 6, and then 5. Like it needed a season 5 before the season 6 that we got.
More or less.
That's what I think. Can you write down what you just said, Celtic Phoenix, and then send it over? No, Floof, I'm in the middle of a show.
Somebody just like rewind the stream, do a transcript, and then do whatever.
Yeah, someone do that and then at Floof.
Yeah. Floof ships me with Volume 5 Part 2.
That
is such a toxic relationship right there. I don't approve. Floof is banned for lewd posting. That's some 50 Shades of Grey type shit right there.
Assuming you have
bullies to lovers and enemies to lovers, like. See, I guess if I had to pick one, like, to be better, I would pick enemies to lovers is better. Because enemies can be enemies for many different reasons. Like, they're on, like, different sides of an ideological conflict, and they have, like, a lot in common, like, chemistry and personality-wise. Whereas bullying is very, like, it's like personal, and it can be like, oh no, I like you and I don't know how to say it.
Oh god, no. Yeah, no. That's something that I try to avoid at all costs.
Yeah, which is like encroaching on that tsundere territory, which I also don't like. My favorite tsundere character in anything really is Furia from Record of Agristor, because she has like Tsunderes need a good reason to like a good reason to hate the love interest in the beginning, and a good reason to stop hating them after they turn. And it's not just like, I've been mean to you and you've been nice to me because you think I'm hot or whatever the fuck. Like it's like in Record of Agristor, it's like she hates all humans in the military. Like she's like, you know, racist based on their fucking, you know, pillaging of her village. And then when she finds out that it's just like this dude who's in the military is like, no, like, I mean, like, look, I was like killed by the same guy. So like, look, we're both on the same side about hating that guy. Fuck him. But like, I mean, most people didn't even know about that raid. And then she was like, oh, okay, I guess then I can look past these like preconceptions I had. It's like misinformation, basically. Or you know, something like that. Whereas in bullies, it's just like, it's personal. Like, you're not,
it
like,
can be personal.
Unless you're like racist, like, you're like bullying somebody. You're not bullying somebody for like an ideological reason. And if you are, it's like an inherent bigotry, which is like the worst ship dynamic. Like the racist and the race-y. Or something like that.
Well, I mean, like, then you also have the fact that, like, I defend Cardin and Velvet in the sense that, like, Cardin's whole thing is he was just an asshole all around. Like, he was a racist piece of shit, but, like, that's on top of him already just being a piece of shit. Like, at the start. He was already just, like, a complete and utter dick weasel. Like, because he bullied John relentlessly.
Who wouldn't, though?
Yeah,
I bet Oscar would bully Jean if he was taller.
I mean, in fairness, yeah. But, like, you know, John and Velvet got very similar treatments in many different regards. And actually, if I remember how I wrote it right, I'm pretty sure Cardin did, in fact, try to kill John. So, I mean, like you stand up to the bully and suddenly he tries to kill you. And the whole point of Cardin's arc is that he got fucking humbled to shit. Hardcore. And he's just constantly, like just getting beat down over volumes. And he's like, maybe I'm not such hot shit. Maybe I am wrong. Like, he just had that moment of epiphany. He didn't even have a moment. He was just like, shit, man. I need to, like, change things in my life. I'm not doing well.
Maybe I should keep my goddamn mouth shut.
And the fact is, they go like going through traumatic events together, that sort of thing, can help kind of smooth over prior disagreements. You know, hey, you know, the Faunus are inferior to humans. Hey, it kind of gets smoothed out when, hey, it's literally me and this Faunus chick having to fight off a horde of Grimm together. Like, yeah. I don't have many other options here, and she's doing more work than I can. Shit. kind of levels that out. At least, like, I like Bullies to Lovers. It can be done right, but I agree that there's a lot of really bad done with it.
Yeah, so. Like, I mean, there's also this, like, trope of, like homophobes being gay, and that comes from a lot of, like, you know, real life people, like, not projecting, but like,
well, you have like a lot of like in the 90s you had a lot of Republican like lawmakers who were like anti-gay, coming out as like blowing people in a freaking truck stop.
Yeah, as gay, and that, like, from real life has gone into fiction, and then from fiction it has gone back into assuming that raging homophobes are gay, as like I don't know, a gotcha, like
yeah.
And it's like that's a really bad dynamic, and just like, I don't know, it's not something it's not really something I like. I much prefer characters with genuine chemistry who don't have to be antagonistic towards each other.
Cardin got hit with the humiliation conga. I like that image in my head. Da, 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 bow, ba, da, 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 bow. Just stop the conga line. The conga line, it's a circle that just goes around Cardin. It's everyone kicking inwards on every beat. Okay. So, on the other hand, some of the comments have stated, I feel like it cheapens Torchwick's death and ramifications of Neo's story arc. I mean, that's the big problem I'm going to be facing with Neo, is that I don't know if I'm going to be able to do what they're doing with Neo in volumes 7 and 8. 6, 7, and 8. Like, I don't think I'll be able to maneuver her into that position, so that might be one of the few super hard divergences I'll have to do, because I can basically replicate a lot of the Oscar scenes with Roman if I so need to. Like, I'm not going to probably, but I can, and it's like it's an option I can take. But with the Neo thing, it's a hard divergence that she's now working with Yang. And what made me turn Neo and Roman into good guys, or like put them on the other side? I like them as characters, and I think they're interesting if they're anti-heroes. Or anti-villains, I guess, is more like it.
Anti-villains.
Yeah.
They're the Seto Kaiba of characters, all right?
Yeah, they're basically in the Seto Kaiba character, category. There's like tsundere bad guy, tsundere good guys. like not they're tsundere towards the plot. Like let's see. I really like what you've done with Fixing RWBY series. To me, Nora should be utterly depressed. How do you know she wasn't? Exactly.
She's been depressed the whole time. That's her secret, Captain.
Oh, Lordy Abe. Got your questions here.
And unfortunately, we're out of time. I'm joking. Let's read those questions.
Let's see. Yuma gets taken down by a tray.
It's canon, though.
Yeah, no, we got the fight, and I weakened him. I don't know what your issue is with exactly.
At least you tried to lampshade it.
Yeah, like they lampshaded it by having her like shrugging to the cat lady, but like it comes out of nowhere, as opposed to I'm out of ammo and I just picked up a tray that's behind this thing. Like it makes sense. Feel like establishing that the table is specifically made to withstand the bullets would be worth mentioning. I mean,
that happens in every single fictional shootout, though.
Yeah, it's like the red barrel. It's like red barrels in video games. They explode. Like, I would love to put red barrels in video games that don't explode, so people would like shoot them thinking they're going to.
Yeah,
and they just don't.
Like a red barrel that's like labeled toothpaste.
Yeah, I should have to pay attention to what it's labeled. Uh-oh, Gira took off his shirt in the middle of a fight. World Star Law now dictates there's a 90% chance he's going to lose. World Star Law? What's World Star Law?
World Star! It's a website where they post fights.
Oh, I never heard of it.
Were you on the internet in the early 2010s?
Yes, I was watching Yogscast.
Oh, you. Oh, yeah, World Star. If you ever need a fight, go to World Star.
Let's see. Nani, the two brothers are so tactile. Usually this attack is so unlike them. Raymond blinked twice if M and K are holding you hostage. Seriously, why keep that in? It just came across as a joke. What? The fact that they acknowledge that they are acting out of character intentionally to frame someone? Like, what's the problem there? I'm genuinely confused.
I don't know, maybe he just doesn't appreciate meta.
Please reload the comment. Okay, are we at the top? Yeah, we're basically at the top. I'll reload the comment. I swear, if you added shit like 2 minutes ago, I'm going to kill. Oh no! Now it's uncensored shit. God damn it! All right, where's newest?
Refresh your comment. I'm not in control of that. I'm sorry.
Wait, you're on the page.
No, I'm reading the stream comments.
Okay. All right, 1 minute. Let me readjust this fucking camera. Just had me refresh the page and it fucked everything up. That's properties.
You monster.
Where's my filters? Filters. All right, so the 50 is still on. Right, 600. And then left should be 200. 250. There we go. Done. Penny is only mentioned in passing. Is Ranger getting like a group therapy episode while Crow is in the hospital or something? The show is called RWBY, and yet the titular character is the only one in her squad not talking about her own baggage. I mean, there's a lot going on.
She's being a leader. She's got to put on the face mask of facey masky masks.
Wonder if the little hammer will ever come back up. I mean, Ren has a family knife. I mean, no, it's a hammer. It's a toy hammer.
Toy hammer.
It's cute, but it's like not really super important. Just scream me that Ruby and Neo are going to duke it out to avenge the respective redheads. Why would that, like, knowing what we know now about Neo, why would that be the case necessarily? Especially now that I've introduced Roman. Like, can you imagine Neo showing up and just being like, well, I guess if we're accepting Roman now. Weiss gets the information by complete accident after going near one room in the mansion she had to avoid. The plan wasn't even laid out, so it's assumed to be simple. No. I mean, like she's called there by her father to request that she sing, and she overhears that when she approaches the door. It's not super coincidental. It's just that Ironwood was leaving at the time. Not to mention that Winter was mentioned directly as an impetus to get her to sing. Like, I put that line in there to basically indicate that Weiss found out through Jacques if it wasn't already clear that she eavesdropped.
Is he talking about that, or is he talking about in the last episode when she's leaving?
I mean, nothing that she hears affects anything in this volume, right? Yeah, it's just
I don't remember.
Why is Weiss even leaving Atlas? Atlas is the first place since Beacon to get more than 2 volumes of focus, and there's a reason. There are so many. No, it's not. It's not gotten 2 volumes of focus since Beacon. Mistral got 2 volumes of focus. Like, are you talking about the continents or the cities themselves? Like, because Mistral's gotten more development until recently. So
I guess.
There's so many characters and potential storylines there yet. There's a lot of characters and potential storylines in Mistral. There's a lot. So
hold on, I feel like my comment is just not coming up. I want to ask the main question about the boot that comes down Kuroyuri.
Oh yeah, no,
and if it is going to matter, and Red
yes.
and Nora later on the.
Yes, I'll clarify that because like it wasn't very clear from the PNG I found, but I wanted to make it clear. That is Raven's boot. That is Raven's boot. Raven was there at Kuroyuri. So for all those who were curious, Raven was there.
Oh.
Yes, and I have plans with that.
Just watching, waiting, lurking,
doing things,
commenting first,
commenting on Fat Man's video, making him feel bad.
Signing up at patreon.com/fatmanfalling.
I wanted to see Weiss. Was as her true self, as you presented in her segment in the S2 opening episode where she returned. She's returning from break, lonely. I wanted to see Weiss struggle with not reverting to her past racism and being promoted by her father. You didn't get that? How did you not get that? You got that. Like that was there. Like, the only reason she wasn't lonely is because she was actively interacting with people. That's what happens. Bumblebee, live chat says it all. Molly, please yell at him. Molly has yelled at me. We get an admission that this season, not much was changed from the original. I would rather you go on a massive tangent and devote half of the season to Velvet and Cardin getting hitched than have you do that Control-C, Control-V boring storyline. Please don't keep Weiss's storyline the same going forward. Oh,
I've been saying that the whole time.
Oh, trust me, Weiss's storyline is not going to be the exact same going forward. Trust me, Volume 5 is terrible for Weiss.
For 6 episodes. And then she's going to sit in a room and listen to Raven. And then she's going to sit in an apartment and listen to Oscar. Weiss, the sitting volume.
God,
coming
it's such a garbage volume.
To IMDb.
I don't know how I'm going to fix that, because like, some of that's like vital, like information dump. And I'm like, how do I get that out while also being entertaining? Holy shit.
Here's what you do.
Just cut it.
You don't. Chop.
Well, when you have Ozpin coming back from the dead and explaining shit, kind of creates an issue.
Yeah.
Let's see. Timing. So far, you've missed 3 windows of opportunity for the audience to care for a storyline. Willow appearing in the flesh should have happened by the end of the Volume 4. Same thing goes for Ruby, Mourning, Penny. For Bumblebee, it was Volume 3 before the fall.
Say again?
Basically, he's saying I missed the opportunity for people to care about Penny's death, about Willow, and about Bumblebee. And I don't think that's the case.
Penny's coming back, so you have way more time to care about her death.
And it's like characters. You know what's really awkward? When people are like, "Hey, remember that friend of mine that died?"
I do that all the time.
Yeah, I do that all the time. I bring up all the horrible things that have happened in my family. Hey, remember when my grandma died and it was a slow, torturous situation where all of our family were basically agonizing over the long period of a week while she died slowly in a hospital, and her last words to me were she was in pain and asking for the pain to stop? I'm sorry, I don't like bringing that up in front of other people. I'm only bringing it up now because to give you an example of how awkward and painful it is that people bring up, hey, remember that friend that died?
Yeah.
So thank you for missing the point.
Yeah. If you want that, go watch, Breaking Bad. Go watch like season 3 of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, like that's
that has some serious emotion, like based on like a dead lover in it, and it's one of the more like I don't know, I don't want to call it realistic because I haven't really gone through something like that, but it's really affecting
and it's not to say, oh, is it the guy that plays the Doctor in Star Trek?
Say again?
The guy that plays the Hollow Doctor in Star Trek?
No. In Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
No.
Hollow Doctor.
Well, it's Jesse and Jane. Like.
Yeah. No. Robert Picardo. The actor is Robert Picardo. No. Sorry. He plays Q. It's the guy that plays.
Yeah.
Q.
Yeah. He plays. Yeah. John Delancey as as Jane's dad. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen Breaking Bad yet, sorry for the spoilers, but it's like it's an old show.
Well, at this rate, I mean, I've not seen Breaking Bad, but that's just because the subject matter is off-putting to me. I'm just like I can fully admit, like from what I hear about it, it's a superb show, but like
it is fantastic.
Yeah. So I have nothing against Breaking Bad, mind you. I just don't like the subject matter. I'm not into drugs, or into like I'm not interested in like drug stuff typically. It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah. But he's not in the meth business, he's in the empire business.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry for going off on that angry tangent. It's just like I have been pacing out people talking about dead loved ones in this show for a reason, because people talking about it isn't very grounded. It's not they don't talk about it unless they're usually with a therapist, or unless it's super fucking relevant, like that.
Yeah, like
was.
if it gets brought up in some way, you know.
Like the end where they're talking about splitting up, and John pulls the nuclear option of, guys, we can't split up or we're going to have another Pyrrha situation. So it's like the
if only I had called for backup.
They should mourn characters. Yeah, I mean, RWBY is everyone has mourned.
They have a job to do also.
Yeah, it's not like why are they sitting around a campfire talking about Penny? When would that have come up? At what point? For what reason? Like, that's going to come up in Volume 5. Like, there's a whole conversation that RWBY has with Oscar that I want to keep somewhat in to some degree, where they acknowledge a lot of the shit that's happened and they kind of take a breather moment. But, like, that was a good scene surrounded by scenes that were terrible, and also with a terrible character.
Do you mourn a person months after they die, or for weeks immediately after?
Yes.
Characters should mourn. You do both.
And you do it in different ways, depending on proximity, your character. People mourn in their own ways. Remember, like one of the first lines about this show is each man is entitled to his own sorrows, or something there.
Was that the quote from the Red trailer?
I think it was the quote from the Red trailer. It's like that's literally the first line of the show.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what you want out of that interaction. Like I mean, do you just want a scene
RWBY
where they're
crying about Penny being dead? She cried when Penny died.
Yeah.
And then,
also, it's been like months. She's in a coma, and she's also lost before. Yeah, there are a lot of mitigating factors to having a good old-fashioned cry in these scenes.
Eternal One with the $20 drop hopes it puts you in a more positive mood, Raymond. That does. Thank you. Holy shit.
I'm sad too. You're not the only one who lost a grandma. Did you bring enough for the whole class?
Oh, the Star Wars quote was from the White trailer. Okay. I mean, that's still one of the earliest quotes in the show.
Yeah, I mean, that's still before any spoken dialogue happened.
Unless you count the sing. Well, I guess it is before the singing. Which is,
technically, yeah.
If the singing counts as spoken dialogue. So yeah, I am establishing the Bumblebee thing. The Bumblebee thing is kind of difficult because, like, I was confirmed that I was going to go forward with it in Volume 3 after Volume 6. I was like, okay, we're definitely doing Bumblebee. So I started building towards that a little bit more, and I'm threading things in there. I made sure to keep Bumblebee on the table. It's like I had Schrodinger's relationships for the first 2 volumes, where I was like, could go either way, guys. And in Volume 3, I'm like, okay, we're definitely doing Bumblebee, so let's lock on to that. So I started inching towards it. Volume 4, we're inching towards it more, and so we have more of a dynamic going forward into it.
Ooh, here's a spoiler question for you. Are you planning on making Pilot Boy more important? You have other characters, I don't know, being the Aesop's personal pilot or oh god, no, don't do that.
No.
I do support making Pilot Boy more important because he was like the best part of Volume 5. But not to be like the Aesop's personal pilot. That has too much of like a Mass Effect 3 ring for me, where it's like you get like this like shuttle pilot and he's like a main character now and you gotta fucking worry about his ass. I don't like.
Wait,
yeah.
Oh, was it the gay guy? That was his big.
Yeah, that was his big thing. He's like, I'm a shuttle pilot. I love ballet. Don't worry about me being gay. I'm not rubbing it in your face or anything. And meanwhile, Trainer was over here like, hi guys, I did the whole plot while you were like off doing shit. By the way, Shepard, do you want to fuck later?
Who's Trainer? I'm trying to remember Trainer.
Like, you know, in Mass Effect 3, they made a big deal about adding a gay character and a lesbian character. But the gay character got all the you know, the focus, even though he was just like a shuttle pilot whose job it was to tell you he was gay over and over again. And Trainer was the lesbian character who like who tracked Kai Lang to the Asari homeworld while everybody else was off fucking juggling balls. Like they focus on the wrong gay character in the Mass Effect 3 marketing. I don't know why I brought that. Oh, because we were talking about Pilot Boy, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So like Pilot Boy, I might make him more important. I don't know how. Does he even have a name?
It's Pilot Boy.
Ruby doesn't mourn Penny. Blake cries after Ilia conversation gets heated. Why did Blake cry? Because basically she pointed out Blake's issues. Like, she pointed out, Blake, you're an abandoning thought. And Blake's like, oh shit, I have no retort.
I'm that hoe that's back here now. I was that hoe over there, but now I'm that hoe right here.
Okay.
I'm Thor now.
Continuing on. Okay, Roman coming back as Oz was pretty based. I gave my reasoning for why I thought Ren should have gotten it, but can you explain the thought process for this Roman? This wasn't a complaint, just curious. Yeah, I explained it, that it's way more interesting as a dynamic, just overall, and I think you can get a lot more out of it. One more problem I have is how Pyrrha was the only redhead that actually died that night. A good way of distracting the audience. I mean, I have plans with Penny that they're not... I mean, there were things that they said in the commentary that pissed me off. Like, when you go over my commentary stream with Molly, the fact that they had the option of doing more with Penny as a rebuilt person, and they didn't. Oh, I am going to tear into that as a concept. Penny is going to be fucking tragic. So
fair enough.
So it don't say there's no consequences for redheads dying. There are. Also, I may, who knows, maybe I'll bring back Pyrrha at some point. I'll find a way.
Roman's roots come in and he's blonde.
And Penny doesn't count because she's not really a human. No, she doesn't count because she actually has a soul.
Oof.
I'm worried you're not going to deviate from a ton of canon. You mentioned having plans for Robin during one of the Molly streams. Prioritize giving storylines pre-existing. Trust me, I have plans with Robin. And they're good. They are good. Neo is just a tool for whoever's in charge. In the famous words of Will Smith, that's hot. I mean, kind of sad that, let's see, kind of sad that Weiss didn't have any pets. Okay.
Why?
Really like that Neo.
You wanted to have a handbag dog like a fucking Kardashian?
I really like that Neo is in the story this time. I hope Neo has something about Raven, seeing as she was afraid of her in the train. It's kind of interesting that there's this...
They're gonna pull up, be like, that's your mom? What the fuck?
I mean, maybe.
Oh, my ex. How old are you?
I'm as old as the plot needs to be.
In case you didn't see it, thanks for reading my comment about the boot. I guess my actual comment was made too recently, or may have
Oh, did you
missed
make it? Which video did you make it on? Because this is on episode 20. This is through 18 through 22. If that was on the overall video, we might not have seen it yet.
Oh, yeah.
Which we were going to skim through that one because we're almost done here. Feel so bad being harsh in the torchwick flashbacks earlier. You should be. You people should have more faith in me. I know what I'm doing sometimes.
Sometimes.
Two comes. Torchwick somehow surviving being eaten, and I feel him getting surviving doesn't lessen how dark V3 was and take away from the thematic meaning that a lot of people still died in Volume 3. I mean, like this entire volume was all about depression and healing. So I can't wait for your Volume 5. Rise Up. Very excited about Volume 5. streams that the novels are not canon. Yeah, the novels at this rate aren't canon anymore. They've already confirmed people are going to be places they can't be. Unless, I mean, things could change, but no, I don't think so. Also, the second volume got really stupid really fast. They introduced a character that can literally touch anything and turn it to gold. Like,
Which should just be done to Salem.
Yeah, literally, they just bring her to Salem and game over.
How many times will Pilot Boy mention his husband? At least twice a scene.
Wait,
oh, you said that. I swear to God, I didn't read. I didn't read that before I said that. His husband Clover. Oh shit.
I mean, that would be fun.
Yeah. Crow is always going to be that close to a 5-way. That close.
On the flip side, like there was the fan theory ran around that Tyrion actually killed one of Clover's boyfriend or something like that at some point, and that's the reason that he has a vendetta against Tyrion. And I think that might be an interesting route to go.
Wait. Clover had a vendetta against Tyrion?
Possibly. People were fan theorizing because of a thing that was on Tyrion's card. Or on Clover's card. It was on one of their card that basically there was a mysterious murder in Mistral of a detective or something like that. And Tyrion was implicated in it. And so people were like putting 2 and 3 together.
Oh. Okay.
So maybe I'm still planning. Pilot Boy? Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah. Clover needs to be full gay, though. None of this wishy-washy, oh no, we're just friends shit.
Oh, no, yeah, he's wearing a full rainbow outfit.
Yeah, his Clover is just, his little pin is like just rainbow.
Let's see. I don't know what you're planning to do with Vernal, but please fix. Yeah, I'm fixing that stuff. Since that volume 5 is next, and specifically Neptune is going to Argus, you're going to have Team Guard. I'm not going to have, I'm debating who I have show up in volume 5. Because I don't want to, volume 5 is already bloated as is with nothing. So I don't want to bloat it with even more nothing. I want to
bloat it with something, and then don't bloat it.
I don't think we have any more like super pressing questions to answer. Someone wanted Weiss to beat her father. No, that'll come later, maybe.
Do you think Ruby would go on a murder spree if Penny is hacked and or killed? I mean, look, that's my idea. That's what I would do if I ever produced my version of Fixing. Ruby just.
I mean, depending how they play it in Volume 8.
I mean, like my idea for Silver Eyes is like also completely different. Like it's just an immense power, and it's not like Grim dependent. It's just like an insane power. I also had some shit with like the Relic of Choice, but that was kind of like a pre-Volume 4 idea. Or a pre-Volume 5 idea.
All right, so we're moving on to the next comment section.
Maybe Tyrion's frog was Clover's boyfriend. What? Like, wasn't Tyrion from a? Didn't Raymond say that murder that they were talking about was in Mistral?
Yeah, but it was in reference to the scorpion and the frog.
Yeah.
So yeah, personally, this part of the someone may have an issue with the Bramwin tribe in that no one really explores it, how the tribe works at all. Since this guy's an indigenous person, and an avid world builder, it's disappointing. There's just so much you can explore with it and RWBY proper. I do plan to get a little more into the tribe. I really hated what they did with the tribe in the original version, where they were just a bunch of like Fallout rejects, basically.
Well, they have a maiden looking over them.
Yeah, but they're a bunch of Fallout rejects. Like there's not like a tribe to them. They're just a bunch of people wearing like torn leather. Like what the fuck?
Well, what are they going to be? A bunch of people wearing pristine leather?
You can't find that in the vaults. No. Quick couple of, you can only find that in the vaults. That's it. Can we get a confirmation of the timeline is supposed to be? You stated that you had spreadsheet. Can you release it? I'm curious to see how you align the events. I mean, I basically I set up how the events chronologically. The only one that really lines up close that you need to know is that Blake's ends right around the ending of all. They all end around approximately the same time, I think. Let me double check that.
Maybe he was an Atlesian specialist who was stationed in Mistral. We do know that they stationed Cordovan in Argus. I mean, they stationed Cordovan in Argus because she was insufferable. So they wanted to get rid of her without pissing her off even more. So they're like, no, you get the honor of being stationed in Argus. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
But I'll confirm that all the stories end up lining up about 10 months after Beacon. That's about where it all lines up chronologically, is that all these stories kind of come to a head 10 months after Beacon. Blake's might be a little departed from that. That's the only exception, in that she needs to do things in Volume 5 that lead up to things in Volume 5. Into the climax of Volume 5. But you'll see. Ranger, they probably have one of my favorite dynamics in Volume 5. Is it Volume 5 stuff? John's outfit.
Yes, it would. I'm not going to dignify that comment by reading it, Tobias.
Yeah, oh my god, that would be way too cool. And that would make Ruby Hispanic. Just I mean, I guess works.
No, Ty is just that white. That's Ty's semblance. He's super white.
An idea for Volume 5. A lot of these are going to be ideas for Volume 5 or 7 or whatever. And I've taken notes of that stuff. Anime Guy Ruby Critics podcast. Blake dropping Sun. Let's see.
That kind of changes the whole meaning of the comment. It didn't mean the not. Summer is very much not white. And only not the not part. It's very funny.
Let's see. So he had issues with Blake dropping Sun. She didn't drop him. It's just that, like, romantically, it's like it's not in the cards. Which it's just kind of how things spill out with the two of them. Adam, oh dear God, here I go. Granted, I like the subtle nod to someone Adam knows who's dead because of the racism in Atlas, but still focusing back, I hate the damn Adam is an abusive. He's not abusive. I want to make a clarification here. Adam is not an abusive boyfriend. He was never an abusive boyfriend to Blake. All right? Like, he was an obsessive ideologue, which led to him being neglectful in the relationship. And that part of, like, that kind of plays into things that they thought they were having a fairy tale romance, and Adam is still wrapped up in that. And then Blake left because she broke out of it. Like, she woke up and was like, oh, we're not just some heroic freedom fighters. We are literally killing innocent people. Like we are getting to the point where we're killing innocent people that don't deserve this. They're literally just people being paid to do a job. Like you can say some things about some people, but, like, Blake was the one that snapped out of it. Like, her and Adam weren't abusive, and that's why she doesn't talk about Adam in abusive terms. She talks about how Adam was someone she admired that became a horrible person as a consequence of following into his ideology. So I want to be clear on that. Adam was not an abusive boyfriend. He's an obsessive idiot. Or an obsessive ideologue, that's it. Blake and Adam have a huge age difference. I mean, they only got together later on, so with the age differences, given that Blake would have been 12 before a 17-year-old appearance in Volume 1, I mean, like, they could have gotten together when she was, like, 16. It didn't have to be, like, it could have actually been, like, a catalyst for her figuring it out, them getting in a relationship.
Will we ever see Ty fight? We still need to see the gun.
Wait, was that his weapon?
Yes.
Is that, like, a joke in the commentary, or?
I actually think it was a joke in one of the in one of the RTX panels.
It's a gun.
Yeah, because it was like, what do we combined with, you know, like, oh, what do you combine with a gun? You know, we take all these weapons and we add a gun. Well, what about a gun? We make the gun, and then Carrie was like, oh, that's Ty's weapon. Or maybe it was Miles. It was one of them. But yeah, that was the weapon of Ty had the gun. We still need to see that. I imagine the gun sort of being, in Jack 3 when your blasters get upgrades, and you know the second one for the yellow blaster that you shoot and it's the disc that just fires in all directions.
That's the third one.
That's the third upgrade for the yellow
one is ricochet shot.
Oh god. Yeah, you're right.
Oh my god, I still remember that. Okay, let me see if I can remember the rest. The blue one goes from machine gun to electric, which was always my favorite, to like homing a machine gun.
Yeah.
The shotgun went from shotgun to.
It did like a full circle radius of damage.
And then what was the third?
At least if you charge, and if it like you could charge it up. I forget if that was the second or third upgrade to that.
I think that was the third one. I don't know what the second one was. And then the Peacemaker was literally just upgraded to destroy everything in a general direction consistently.
Yeah, basically the Rhino from Ratchet and Clank. Or the Zodiac from Ratchet and Clank, not the Rhino.
But yeah, even if Monty himself said it was a master-apprentice relationship, doesn't mean it can also have become romantic later on. Like, I think it started out that way. It became romantic about a year out before she decided to defect. And then she decided to defect because, like, parts of her brain kept getting jogged and, like, this isn't right. Things are wrong.
Since the novels aren't canon, are we going to see in volumes 5 and 6 what happened with them, or are we going to potentially do standalone videos?
I haven't decided yet. I'm not going to do cutaways from 5 and 6. I feel like those would just slow things down. I was already actually pretty hesitant to put them in here, but I thought they were a necessary element of showing time passing and how Beacon is progressing. So, we see. We might be near at the end here. Wish there was a way to buy Ruby from Rooster Teeth. Yeah, I would buy Ruby from Rooster Teeth in a heartbeat if I could. If I had the money.
You wouldn't be buying it from Rooster Teeth. You'd be buying it from fucking Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're probably not seeing much return on it anymore. We'll see.
I don't know. Maybe it's like the only thing keeping Rooster Teeth in the green.
Ironic considering what Bernie said about anime.
Let's
see.
Anime.
Yeah, no, people are like, oh, you should still have John's upgrade. Make it look more like a sword, though. No. It's a stupid upgrade. Like, when you understand how the physics of swords work, that's not really doing too much. I mean, it's adding a bit of weight, but, like, it doesn't change the grip, and it would just break your hand. Because that's a one-handed grip. That sword has a one-handed grip on it. It does not have room for two-handed.
Yeah.
Must have more. Yeah. Yeah, we're done. We got through all the comments. Anyone else? Yeah. Otherwise, what do you mean I have to? I have been writing it in. Like,
what do you?
The Blake and Adam dynamic? I have been writing it in. What makes you think I haven't been writing it in? Like, it's called subtlety, guys. The more more and more, I wonder if you guys just need things spelled out for you.
You want pro wrestling character development. Sorry, if someone hasn't seen that Endless Jest video, then I'm just talking crazy. But yeah, no, like, subtext is a real thing.
Like, the way Blake talks about Adam in my rewrite, in what way have I ever indicated that he was an abusive ex-boyfriend? Like, the biggest thing that I've harped on with Blake to Adam was that she admired Adam, he became extremist, and she fell out of love, or she fell out of admiration for him. That is the biggest bullet point I can put on it the entire time. I don't know. In fact, here's the thing. In the canon show, they had one scene where it's indicated that he might be a manipulative boyfriend. And that was in that trailer for Volume 6. And it was garbage. Like, I don't understand where it's coming from. I have one Roman sucked Oscar.
Ignore Abe. His takes are ice cold. Ooh, shots fired. Ooh. Do you guys have any cool ideas about relevant future weapon upgrade ideas for the characters? I don't. I have ideas about like Nora specific upgrades, and
I do plan on
like
using them,
I had an idea for like Yang upgrades, but that's not Raymond's idea. Like that wouldn't fit into his fixing. The more I'm part of these streams where we're talking about headcanons and shit, the more I just like want to make my fixing.
I mean, yeah, go ahead. I'd be interested to see how it goes out.
Yeah, I kind of want to. Now I'm all like ooh,
but like
I have so many projects to work on.
Yeah, like part 2.
Nah.
And
part what?
So are you going to do a full Volume 7 review, or are you just doing the commentary videos?
I might do. Okay, I'm doing the commentary video, but I'm doing the full commentary. When I did Volume 5, I stopped doing the commentary videos because I used the rest of the relevant parts in the actual Volume 5 review. But I'm doing the full commentary for Volume 7 so that the Volume 7 review can be shorter. Because I mostly have broad, overarching things to say about Volume 7, and I'm trying like not to get into like specifics as much. Because I want it to be shorter. I'm expecting the Volume 7 review to be like maybe like 45 minutes instead of like an hour and a half.
You say so the man that just completed a 2.5-hour fixing.
All right, Volume 3 review was 2.5 hours.
True.
Yeah.
How would you go about Ren's upgrades in Volume 7 and 8? And revise it? I mean, like, I actually like how he's been utilizing the hooks on his... I actually think his upgrade has been, like, the most utilized so far. Aside from John's stupid little shield thingy.
John's stupid little shield thingy. It's so dumb.
Which admittedly got some interesting use in that action sequence, but now he's lost it.
Guys, what about Ruby and her ability to turn her scythe to face the other way?
Oh, no, I know. I have the blade spin and create like an umbrella like propeller, and so she like flies up.
No, yeah, Neo like floats down, and then Ruby like turns her blade, and it's like, and then like spins like, ha! I got the idea from you.
Yeah. Oh no, I have a 2-headed scythe. How about that?
Sword mode for Crescent Rose. I mean, that's just what the animators. Lion Eyes was banging though. Yes, I agree. Lion Eyes is, I believe, there was Lion Eyes, and then there was one other song on the Volume 6 soundtrack that were like, yeah, okay, these work as songs. And Lion Eyes was definitely one of them.
Oh, and for the record, no one guessed the plot point that I have set up for Volume 5. There's only one person that there's one person guessed here asking if it involved Raven. No, it does not involve Raven.
How would you go about Ren's upgrade? Oh, you already answered that. Volume 7 election ends with a surprise ending. Pilot Boy comes to steal the chair and takes the election. Oh yeah. I mean, Pilot Boy's real name is Ivy Brown.
I forgot they actually gave names to those characters. Flufa asks, "What about the droid attack on the Wookiees?" You know, we don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, it is a system we can't afford to lose, but at the same time, I don't want to get out of this hologram chair.
It is very comfortable. Let's see. Will you consider having a gag about Yang, Weiss, and Neo lifting Bumblebee after they arrived at Haven through Raven's portal? I'm tempted to do that because I love the fact that like it's all stairs. Just like Yang just being like, wait, there's no roads. Fuck!
Yeah, no, Neo, you gotta help me lift the back end of the bike up. Come on.
Well, it's Neo
And
and
then-
Weiss,
and
so
then-
it's like you have all of them.
And then Neo just kind of waves her hand over it, and it turns into like a bunch of trash cans and shit. And then Yang is like, "Well, fine. I guess we'll leave it here then."
Okay. So, yeah, we'll wrap up the stream here, I think, because I'm starving and I need food. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you had a wonderful time. I hope this answers all the questions now about Fixing RWBY Volume 4. I can't wait to get to Volume 5. Actually, I can wait to get to Volume 5. It's going to be a nightmare for me. Oh my god. Remember that next week should be a stream with the artist, the Sketchy Huntsman. Now, what time next week? I don't know. I'm going to organize that with them. So hopefully we can get a bunch of artists on the stream to talk about their art, their processes, and all the fun stuff you can ask about those scenes. And I can talk about some of the ideas I had in my head that didn't quite translate well, because that happens. It happens in all productions.
Yeah.
But yes, remember that for $1 or more to mine or Fatman's Patreon, you get access to the Team Frostbite Discord server, where me, Fatman, Dashi, and other fan favorites like Mediocrity and Floof regularly interact with all of you lovely fans. On top of that, you can ask at least one question to us, which has been a new change in policy. One question
At
to us
most
during any
one
of our
question.
reactions.
At most one question.
At most one
But
question.
by the way, it was Indomitable. Indomitable was the other Volume 6 song that worked as a song. Nevermore is in third place, but it's like significantly down for me. I'm actually just gonna take a picture of this shit and I'm gonna post it on Twitter because I made the list.
At
so
Twitter, where you can follow both me and Fatman. at Raymond _McNeil and at Fatman Falling. Right? That's your Twitter handle?
Yep, at Fatman Falling.
So follow us
You
there
have
if you
to
want
you have to
updates.
type it in. You have to type the whole thing in because I'm soft banned on Twitter, so I don't show up in search results. I think it's because I called out Twitter for not having an edit button, and they soft banned me for that.
Now I'm going to end the stream before the war between Mupa and Abe gets any more out of control. So we'll catch you all on the flip side.